Volkan, over here.
Yep.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Darren.
Good, thanks. You fought all over the world, but how special is it to get to compete in Paris?
Yeah, Paris is a great place for me because it's like next to home. I'm gonna have a lot of family coming, a lot of friends are here already, so it's actually really good. You know, it gives me a lot of motivation, and this is the thing that give me a lot of proud. You know, like to make me proud to fight in front of them, and to be able to give them some nice fights, some good pleasure, and to enjoy the night after with them.
And you were scheduled to fight Azamat. You and I always talk about this. You're always willing to fight anybody. You never turn down anyone. So maybe this is a silly question, but when they came to you with a newcomer in Bogdan, was it a very quick yes from you?
Yeah, definitely. But at the time, my manager actually held on to me that the guy was injured. You know, so for a few days until they found out a replacement, he just kept it quiet, and it was actually good. So I kept on focusing on my training camp. I don't have to think about whatever else in my mind. And whenever he announced me, he came already with the answer. Like they found out a new opponent. They had some talks. They said like the UFC told him there was no top 15 available to fight in Paris. He knew already I wanted to keep that date, you know, because Paris is a place I really wanted to fight in. And so they say if you really want to keep the spot, then you have to fight this guy. We're gonna have to sign a new guy, right? So for me, it was a quick yes anyway, because it's gonna be all about me, you know. It's gonna be my fight, my night, you know. I don't really care who's in front of me.
Were you familiar with him? Did you know who he was when?
No, I did not. You know, it's he fought in some many fights definitely, but in some local promotion. So then I didn't know about him.
Did you get a chance to watch his fights, and what do you think of him?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, like, you don't really know because he fought lower tier fighters, in a lower competition, in the local scene. So it's actually hard to guess, right? Because he's killing them. You know, it's easy. He's better than them. But how good is he? You know, it's always there is always a gap, right? But he was actually the same for me. You know, I also fought in the local promotions back in the day before the UFC. Then I arrived in the UFC, and then, you know, it was time to prove. And my first fight was actually the same situation as him. My first fight was against a top 10 guy who was OSP, Oven Simpre, was ranked 6 at the time, and I had to go there and, you know, give my best, you know. So obviously I know the feeling, you know, I know what he's going through right now, but I've lived that and I've done it, you know. So I know how it's going to be for him in his mind, and I'm here to stop him.
And one more from me. How do you plan on regaining consistency? Because you've had ups and downs. You had a recent very good win over Paul Craig, who was on a nice winning streak. So what do you feel like you need to do to get back on a winning streak?
Yeah, the thing is, like you say, consistent. You know, being consistent with everything. You know, I had a lot of times, you know, when I accept fights. You know, I also know I have a lot of stuff going on. You know, injuries and problems and this. This camp actually was really injury-free for a long time towards the end, obviously. So it was one of the first time I'm feeling really great as well. You know, so it's always the same. You know, I'm always here to give a fight. You know, so sometimes I need, I guess, people to protect me from myself.
Merci.
Volkan over here.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's any difficulties or pressures when you have to take on a debuting fighter like you are on Saturday night?
Yeah, because like I say, you never know what to expect. You know. They fight against guy and everything goes perfect for them because they don't have the same, nobody's answering to them, you know, like they don't have the real fight, like the dog fight. So you don't really know what they're made of, you know, because once it's becoming really difficult, that's when you see like who you are.
And coming from Switzerland, you mentioned before you're having lots of families and friends coming out for the fight. Do you feel like this is almost like a home field kind of fight?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm coming from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, so it's actually really good for me because a lot of people are usually coming to Paris often, you know, for a holiday vacation. You know, it's like an easy destination for them. They're willing to make the trip, so it's actually gonna be good because there's a lot of people coming.
Do you feel like if you get a big win here, maybe the UFC would look at a Swiss event because the European scene is growing so much?
Yeah, actually, it's everything is going well, you know, for Switzerland as well. You know, there is a lot of media also interested. It's always developing, you know. It's an idea I always wanted to bring to the table, you know. Obviously, you know, it's we need to have some good fighters as well. Now we have Ange as well fighting tomorrow. There is Stephanie Egger, that is also a Swiss fighter, and there is also many more that could be fighting in the UFC. So definitely something will be done in the future.
And last one from me. In April, you called out Alex Pereira when he announced he was moving up. Is that a fight you would still like to chase? And I'm wondering, what did you think of his 205 debut?
I mean, he fought former champion. He won, so, there is no denying, he's a great fighter, of course, because he keep on stacking the victories, and all the stuff he's done for that short amount of time was actually great. Yeah, I'm always willing to, to take on anybody, Especially, we learned that Alex Pereira was coming up to the division, and nobody was. I'm not a vocal person, right? I don't text and I don't tweet like crazy. But everybody was silent, definitely. So for me, it was definitely an opportunity, because I really don't care. I'm here to win, to get the belt, and there is like shortcuts, to get the weight. So definitely a win against Pereira will bring me really close to the will be next for a title shot.
And Dana White said last night at the Dana White Contender Series press conference that they were looking at doing Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira in December. I wonder what you think of that matchup.
I think it's actually a really smart move, and it's actually good for the fans. There is a history between them, with Glover, Jiri beating Glover, and him, coming up now, taking revenge on, it's actually really a good scenario. So I think it's a smart matchup, and it's good because let's face it, Pereira is at the top of the division, and he's there for a reason. So why not make the fight right now?
Thank you.
Volkan, ce sera en français. L'année dernière, tu étais dans le public et les guests de l'UFC Paris. Aujourd'hui, tu es sur la combattant français. Mais je pense qu'il passe un petit peu au-dessus du fait qu'on est sur un très très beau combat. Toi et ton adversaire, vous avez plus de 12 KO à votre actif, etc. Est-ce que c'est pas un peu un des gros combats annoncés de la carte, ton combat justement à l'UFC Paris? Ça peut être un gros spectacle.
Je pense que le spectacle il va être génial. Après, c'est clair, comme d'habitude, c'est pas le nom qui fait ressortir tout le monde. Tu vois, un combat comme Cyril ou bien Manon aussi contre Rose, c'est des combats incroyables rien que pour la renommée. Mais ça va être un combat qui va être incroyable, le mien, c'est sûr, parce que ça va être violent. Et ça, c'est quelque chose on va tous voir venir. On est les deux finishers, donc on va y aller pour le fight, et ça va vraiment se fighter dur. Et j'aurai ma main levée, ça c'est sûr.
Et est-ce que tu as un message justement pour le public français pour leur donner envie justement de te soutenir, parce qu'on sait que l'ambiance de l'UFC Paris est toujours un petit peu particulière, et je pense que quand tu viens combattre ici, tu as aussi envie de le ressentir, donc si tu veux leur dire quelque chose.
Ah non, mais moi je me sens ici chez moi, parce que tu vois, je viens souvent ici, je me sens à l'aise, c'est comme une partie de moi aussi. Pour moi, la France, c'est le MMA français, ça a toujours été les premiers trucs que j'ai regardés, tu vois. À l'époque, c'était Skyrock avec Snake Team, Cyril Diabaté qui posait Jess Liodin, etc. Tu vois. J'ai commencé comme ça, et puis j'ai tout suivi après sur les forums, les machins. Donc vraiment, le MMA français, c'est le premier public, tu vois, les premiers combattants, les premiers fighters qui ont été là, c'est ceux qui ont apporté vraiment redorer le blason à la France. Et je suis heureux de faire partie de l'histoire, le deuxième événement de l'histoire française.
Yes. Merci Volkan, bonne chance.
Merci.
Salut Volkan, Fred pour Gong.
Ouais.
Je voulais savoir ce que tu pensais de ta catégorie, donc les 93, qui était la KT reine avant l'UFC, pendant très longtemps, et qui aujourd'hui est un peu bizarroïde, peu chahuté, les champions se succèdent, sont blessés. Enfin, qu'est-ce que tu penses? On parle de malédiction même carrément dans la KT. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de ça et à quoi tu attribues ça? Depuis que Jones en fait est parti, je précise.
Ouais, on voit ce qui se passait avec Jones, c'était que pendant très longtemps, personne ne le voyait indétrônable, personne ne le voyait partir. Il s'est saboté lui-même, on va dire, un petit peu. Il y a eu Cormier, de nouveau, très longtemps, un champion invaincu. Ensuite, ça s'est battu entre eux, etc. Mais c'est vrai qu'après ça, ça a été très rapide récemment. Il y a eu des changements de ceinture presque à chaque défense de titre. Plus les rebondissements avec les laisser la ceinture alors qu'ils sont blessés, etc. Moi, je trouve que ça fait du bien. Mais après, les titres intérim, c'est aussi pareil, tu vois, ça fait aussi de l'histoire. Mais c'est vrai qu'on n'a jamais vu ça, vraiment, quelqu'un qui fasse comme Jiri. Encore mieux, encore pire, je ne sais pas comment dire, c'est ce qui s'est passé avec Hill. Donc vraiment, c'est
Il y a eu l'épisode en Kalaev aussi,
ouais,
contre Blacko.
Ça, c'était bizarre.
Ah, justement, comment tu as perçu ce combat, toi, exactement?
Alors,
outre
moi,
la décision,
Ouais, je comprends le Dana White qui part et qui s'énerve parce que tu vois, quand il y a un champion qui a fait des combats très dominants comme Jiri, qui laisse sa ceinture et que les remplaçants font un combat qui sont pas très à la j'ai envie de gagner, pour moi c'était compréhensible de la part de Dana de partir. Et ensuite, tu vois, quand on a un champion qui a été autant dominant que Jiri lors de ses derniers fights, mais qu'il laisse sa ceinture, mais maintenant on veut un remplaçant, il faut que le remplaçant il vienne là-bas la main levée, c'est sûr.